Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Brownstone. I'm your host, Dr. Michele, and you're listening to Numbers Don't Lie. We learn to get out your feelings so you can make the best decisions for yourself, your family, and your business. Guys, I'm super excited about this episode. And I know I say that every single week, but I just have really good guests every single time. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to be excited. So, I'm excited because I get to introduce you guys to a part of my life like before I was Dr. Michele. Like I was a teacher. That's how I started my career as a high school math teacher. And so my guests are people that I met during my tenure at a high school in Durham, North Carolina. And they were like my mentors turned friends, but they are on another venture as well. So we're all, using as our foundation, but we're in different places in life. But we're going to be talking to them about what they're doing now, of course, how they're using data, but it gives me a chance to catch up a bit as well as educate the viewers on how powerful their organization is touching not just students, but when I say the whole environment or ecosystem of education, and then of course using data to do that. So without further ado, I want to introduce to my friends, but let me just tell you right now, they are funny. So, you know what I'm saying? Forgive us in advance for cutting up a little bit, but we hope it gives you a little chuckle as well and makes something like data a little more digestible. So without further ado, please welcome to the Numbers Don't Lie stage, Mariama Moody and Jamitra Hinton.
Woohoo! Hello.
Hi.
Hey, y'all.
Hey.
Y'all so
This about to
silly.
be best. You about to, girl, just about to go viral right here because I don't know what's about to come out of my mouth. So I'm just letting you know. It's about to be a good one right here. Yes.
I'm here for viral moments now. Okay. And it's all the more it's about Black women in education. So
There we go. There we go.
So before we get into it, please introduce yourselves and then tell them a little bit about your business. Give them a little bit, and then of course we're gonna go into more of it. We'll start with you, Mariama.
So hello world. Because you're worldwide. You're special. My name is Mariama Moody. I am ooh, here. Amen. I born in New Jersey, grew up in West Virginia, went to school in Virginia at the Great Hampton University. Started my teaching career in Norfolk and continued in Durham Public Schools where I met Jamitra and Michele. And I'm currently co-founder, co-everything of M&M Educational Group. Um, yeah, and I just love all things music and line dance.
Yes, she
See
can
how I
sing,
ended that.
y'all. Okay,
See how
talk
I
to me.
did that. There you go.
Hello. Thank you so much, Dr. Michele, for having us here. We're elated. I'm Jamitra. I'm the other M of M&M Educational Group. Originally from Fort Wayne, Indiana. Been teaching for over 20 years. Started in Virginia, then a few years in Indiana, and then now here in North Carolina. I actually still teach a little bit. I'm an adjunct math instructor at Alamance Community College. Have two beautiful daughters, 10 and 12, married going on 19 years. Yes, bless me. And let's see. I don't find a lot of time doing it, but I enjoy relaxing when I do. Love sporting events and participating and going, but I go more than I participate. And yeah, time does that to you. But yeah, so yeah, we've been with M&M. We started M&M about 10 years ago. We just celebrated 10 years this past September. So yes, this has been our life.
You gotta sing spiritual when you say it.
Yes, you
Yes,
do.
Jesus. Yes, Lord.
So they've been in business
Yes.
for 10 years, y'all. So this is going to be beneficial to not just people in education, but also entrepreneurs because, and not everybody makes it in 10 years. Not everybody makes it past a year. So if you are in entrepreneurship, definitely buckle up and they're probably going to drop some nuggets for you about sustainability. People, my guests surprise me every time. Like it's always some gems in there hidden. So you may think it's about one thing, it may turn out to be about something else. We're gonna see, run on, see what the end gonna be. Okay. Alrighty, so let's start with this one. So now that you guys are outside of the traditional teaching role, what does success look like as it relates to student achievement? Because before it was about those test scores, attendance, graduation rates, but like, what does that look like for you guys now?
I can say one being that we work with individual clients, and we have our tutors. We have, a team of tutors, and one of the responsibilities is to communicate with teachers and the parents as well. So I think the feedback that we get from the tutors, the teachers, and the parents, that pretty much helps us measure our students' achievement. So when you get a teacher saying, such and such is starting to participate in class more because they actually understand what's going on, and it's not so much the grade, but just the participation piece and the willingness to engage in the class, because what they learn in the classroom, what they learn in the tutoring session, they're able to apply that to the classroom. And then, a parent saying, my child wants to come to tutoring. That's a measure of success, because before they didn't care about school and learning, but it was just that relationship they form with the tutor and being able to, openly engage with them as well. And then the student as well, their different approach to learning, like they want to learn. So all of those help us measure their achievement and their success.
I love
It's a
that.
great answer.
Well,
That's a great
good
answer.
job.
That's my business partner, y'all. I think the only thing I'll add is considering we work with individual families, but also with schools, whether it be, test prep or EEG prep. We've we've learned to be even more flexible, I think, in terms of, like Jamesh was saying, how we measure success, because that could be a specific grade, or that could just be these kids just like coming to see y'all when you come, or it could be, oh yeah, everybody that came to this test prep, class, they did score above this certain number. So it just we've had to be extremely more flexible, because every school was looking for something different in terms of how they're evaluating success or progress, just like every parent and every student is going to evaluate progress and success differently. So yeah, we've had to grow.
That. And I love that you didn't just say one type of information or data. It was quantitative and qualitative, because I think sometimes people think when I say numbers don't lie, that's just easy for people to understand with data. And I love numbers, but data really is more than just, like you said, a score. It's more than just, how they're doing this test. It really is that engagement in school, because some people can't check out, as we know, as teachers, because they don't know what's going on. They're gonna be our
So
biggest disruptors, because they bored, or they don't want to, want people to know that they don't know. So I love that it covers, success covers like a gamut of things. So for all y'all out there listening, it's not just about the grade on the paper.
even when talking to parents, just on a minute level, when they come with concerns, uh, you have start having a larger conversation. Typically, there was something somewhere, something happened years ago where they knew something was disconnecting. So it's very rarely, oh, I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, they just started not doing well. Something happened. It just wasn't necessarily huge or, a big event. But typically, it doesn't necessarily start it doesn't necessarily always start with a grade. It might start with, like you said, I don't really like this class, or
Mm.
just random concerns that eventually contribute to they just aren't passing. But it's not, like you said, it's not always they just failed this test. It could be in multiple, just array of factors that are contributing to students, parents, or whomever not seeing the progress that they want to see. And we really do our best to try to address all of those different, touch points, because they all make a difference.
Yeah. And I know from my experience of teaching, I feel like every teacher have done some type of tutoring at some point in their life, make a little side change. Do you guys experience, and maybe it's a 50-50, what type of students do you typically encounter? Is it those that they need to pass, like they're struggling? Or is it like, I had like some that were doing okay, but they wanted to be better?
We have a mixture. Most are,
Mhm.
they're trying to achieve a certain level. They're struggling, what have you. Sometimes they come at the very last minute. I have to pass this test next week, but something
Oh,
like that.
Lord.
But we do have a
Right.
few that, they're doing well, but they want to maintain that level, or, just achieve a little higher. So, but it's a mixture. But most, they need that improvement. But yeah, we they come from all backgrounds, all type of levels. We address them all.
It's a test next week for me. What?
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
They really think we're miracle workers. We do great work, but we will let them know we are not miracle workers. And that's why just being proactive is just so important. We try to tell parents, don't wait till the last minute. So we gauge, and we'll get to this later as far as data, but we gauge where
Oh, girl, we
when
focus
that
on now.
first
Go ahead.
when that first report card comes out, we know that we're going to get an influx of inquiries. Right before that last quarter, we're going to get an influx of inquiries. So we pay attention to that, but we try to tell parents, don't wait till the last minute, just because we're not miracle. We do great
I
things.
think that's a good point, because it's like there are indicators, but what, in your guys' opinion, what is an initial indicator of it's time to come in? Because first report card, it could be a little late, maybe right on time for some people, but is it after the first test? Is it after the first interim report?
I remember when I was teaching, I definitely looked at that first progress report. So it's kind of like midway through
Mm-hmm.
not the semester, but the grading period. So even before that report card comes out. So that was my key indicator. And sometimes even before then, a test, I can't say the first test because it's just starting school or what have you. But
Yeah.
after that second one, if I see something similar, okay, yeah, let's try to fix what's going on. But definitely that first progress report. Let's get to this now before that report card comes out. That's a permanent grade.
I would definitely agree. And I think this also can turn into a conversation of how we show students what learning looks like,
Mm-hmm.
because we typically paint, for centuries, have painted learning as this: either you understand it or you don't, or like these people are good at math and these people aren't, versus, and then now we have all the fancy terms, the growth mindset and all that, but those that understanding has been around for years, of just, well, no, you just might have to work a little harder. And so I think typically, usually around that eighth, ninth grade year, or maybe before, that's typically when students really start to have to define who they are as a learner, and they can't just say, oh, everybody else didn't have to study. Well, one, you don't know that, and two, maybe you do. And those conversations, I mean, those conversations can be challenging, just because it might be the first time the student is hearing you have to figure out what works for you. And that those conversations can just be very layered. And it can sometimes be scary for parents, because, there might be conversations of, diagnoses, and different challenges or acronyms that they're hearing from the school. But in a lot of cases, it's just sometimes the students don't really know what the learning process looks like. They're just expecting, either I'm doing well or I'm not. And if I'm not, I'm going to you to tell me what to do, to wave this magic wand. No, we're going to tell you to check your answers. We're going to tell you to read the question and tell you what you probably need to do for you to improve. And that might not apply to everybody else. And to us as teachers, and now still being in the educational mode, but also being in a managerial role, that's something we even have to encourage to our tutors regularly. Like, you have to empower your students to know what's going to work for them. And sometimes that's a longer journey for others. It's because of the way I think we just illustrate to students what just help looks like. And that's all the tutoring is. It's help. And we all need help at some point, but that, it gets taboo, and it can just be a lot. And these kids just trying to learn. They're just trying to learn, y'all. They're just trying to learn. I think I got off topic, but I get passionate
No,
about
it's
that.
okay.
Yeah, it's frustrating to see students struggle, and to see parents like really fearful, with things that possibly could have been addressed, a while ago, or just might not be that deep. We're not used to just saying, I need help. But then we get mad when kids don't know how to do that. But as adults, we don't model that very well,
No, we don't.
either. So I'll stop there, because, I ain't coming to preach. I didn't. I didn't.
Say
But I'm
on,
just saying,
sister.
y'all. I'm just saying, we want our kids to be ready to say, because, we always ask the teacher, but do we always reach out when we need help?
Did you know that data-driven organizations were 19 times more profitable? 19. You heard me right. Perhaps you're asking, what is data-driven and how do I become one of those organizations? I'm so glad you asked. I want you to go take a quiz. It's a simple, quick quiz to help you assess if you are in fact one of those organizations. Head over to mogulbeginnings.com/data into dollars quiz now. That's mogulbeginnings.com. You can just go to mogulbeginnings.com and it'll show you the data into dollars quiz. Take it now. You'll see if you're on your way to 19xing your profitability. You're listening to Numbers Don't Lie on KCCR Cityscape. We hope you're enjoying the tunes and all the jams. Make sure you visit our website over at brownstoneworldwide.com to learn about all things Brownstone. You can check out Brownstone Living Magazine and all the great things that we have on the website, as well as the shop. You just got to head over to the website, brownstoneworldwide.com.
Keeping it locked to KCCR Radio,
my station,
the Brownstone Center. And don't forget, no matter where you go, there we are.
Because you guys don't just work with students. You also work with only parents, but you also work in another aspect, because, I think what they've heard so far is tutoring. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you do outside of tutoring before we get into like how you use data there?
So primarily outside of tutoring, we have like professional development modules that we've created particularly for beginning teachers, or no, there's a different phrase for them now, but teachers who were just new to this career, like they've, this is the second or third career for them. We also work with administrators closely when we are doing like small groups in school in trying to decide what will work best for their particular program. Because again, every school is different, the demographic, all of the above. And yeah, those conversations I think are just very eye-opening, because again, we started this coming from the classroom, and as teachers, you're very aware of like your kids, your class, your curriculum. But being in one, being outside the classroom, but two, being in those roles and working directly with teachers or directly with administrators, you realize there's a lot going on at any given moment in the school building. It's a lot. And so sometimes, although I think we expect administrators to have all the answers and to know everything, they're learning just as much as the teachers are. And
Wow.
some of them also may not have a lot of teaching experience, so they might not be an educational expert. Doesn't mean they're not good at what they have been assigned to do, but they really might not have the skills to be able to go into a classroom and know what they should be looking at. So there are a lot of checks and balances just in the system, period. But what we hope to bring when we're working directly with educators and teachers is that teacher lens, but also an understanding of like we're seeing all of it from the classroom, from your perspective, and what parents are saying is confusing to them. And we're trying to kind of bring a holistic view to what we do, even working, directly with the adults. Yeah, everybody needs help.
Demetria, do you want to add anything?
I think that's to our advantage too, that we have the insight as a parent, because we work with the parents, working with administrators, and coming from, since we've been in the classroom so long, so we're able to, like she said, infuse those three together, which helps because when we work with administrators, we're expecting them to know, I guess, more than they maybe, and not saying they don't know, but it's just, it's just the truth. It's just like we are bringing a lot of expertise from different perspectives, which is helpful and beneficial to them. So I think that's a plus to being in the role that we are in.
But I think also everybody involved at some point has to check their ego, because it's not about whether this is a great teacher. It's not about whether I'm a good AP or I'm a good principal or if I'm a good. That's really not the point. The point is if students aren't achieving, figuring out why should be the goal, not determining whether or not somebody's a great this that. Because I think we've worked with some great teachers that had students that struggled. Period. So I think once egos are checked and there really is a conversation with administrators, teachers, and even parents, then the real work can begin in terms of, okay, what does helping teachers do all of that Demetria just alluded to? What does that actually look like? And as an administrator, that might mean bringing M&M in, because I never taught math. So as I'm saying, as an administrator, you never taught math, you might not know how to help these math teachers. That's a fair, conclusion to make. So maybe that's a district person, maybe that's M&M, maybe that's asking a math teacher to be the lead of such and such. If as the math teacher, you don't know how to figure out what's wrong with your students, again, that might be an outside company, that might be having a conversation with the AP. Like sometimes egos can get in the way of student success just because we want to do a good job. And eventually all that has to be checked, because at the end of the day, it's about the kids.
That's good. So it sounds like to me that it sounds like that the grades like initially are like that, what Demetra said earlier, like that early indicator of that we may have an issue, but it's not like we should not solely rely on this as the only way to measure our students, but it's an indicator to say like, hey, is there something going on? Let's dive deeper. So with that said, I feel like this, I think you already mentioned it, like, you know, the time and the resources, and then just kind of thinking about from the administrator's perspective, because just like, you know, the school year is only but so long, they don't have but so many resources, and then you guys are definitely a resource to the schools. How do you help them? Like, what do you say to the administrators that don't know where to start? It's just like, hey, I'm coming into this, like a Dr. Logan, or some of those principals that are literally brought into these schools to try to turn the Joe Clarks of the world that are brought into these schools to turn things around. Like, what do you say to those administrators that like literally they're shoving data down their throat? Like, what do they do from your perspective?
My first thought kind of goes back to something I said previously, is to figure out where your strengths and your weaknesses are. If you know that you are strong in disaggregating data, analyzing it, being able to explain it and share and make conclusions, then you're stronger there than it may be actually helping teachers implement changes. Then figure out what you're strong in, do that, and then delegate the rest. I don't know how easy that will be because that depends on every school's resources, but I think we see the most as administrators just trying to put out a lot of fires, which typically is what they end up doing. But unfortunately, actually using data effectively can kind of fall by the wayside. Understandably so, but we know at the end of the year, schools are going to get graded. There's going to be some sort of evaluation. So I think from our perspective, figure out what you can actually do well, and then figure out what you actually have the power to delegate, which might actually even empower your teachers to take more ownership of their data and their whatever reform that they're implementing. But yeah, I think that's where we see administrators fall apart the most. It's just they're trying to do everything understandably because they have a lot to do, but you're not strong at everything. Just like teachers have certain strengths and weaknesses. And again, delegating might be bringing in an M&M. It might be just assigning a lead teacher. It might be asking the district for more support. But I think just having those honest conversations with each other as an administrative team, and then figuring out how to solve problems that you all know might not just be in your wheelhouse can make a difference and can encourage teachers to do the same in their classroom.
I wholeheartedly agree with the delegation piece because I've seen both sides where a principal try to take on everything, and I hate to use the word, but they failed in a sense that their health was affected. They had to leave because they tried to take on everything. And then I seen on the other side where the administrator or principal was able to effectively delegate because they had a great team. And that's another thing. You have to have a great team and hone in on each individual's strengths, and not even just administrative team. Like you said, that's when you can turn those teachers into leaders because they have strengths as well. So if you are able to delegate, like you say, know what you can do and then delegate the responsibilities elsewhere, then that can lead to some success. But you can't do everything on your own. You just can't. So I think that is key right there. Yeah.
And it's really what we've been saying this whole time. Just figure out where you need to get help. Just like we tell our students to get help. I know it sounds simple. In practice, it can be challenging, but again, we're saying that from seeing so many different levels. At the end of the day, that's literally what we're seeing everybody have to figure out how to do, is to get help somewhere, because you can't do it all by yourself. It's not possible.
And I know you asked about the school, but even on the business level with M&M,
I was thinking that too.
Yes,
we did everything.
Yes.
And now we have an assistant. As financial piece. Now we have an accountant. We've always had an accountant, but now we even delegated even more responsibility to that accountant. And I can feel the relief. Oh my goodness. I'm like, why did it take us so long to do this? And so then like the social media piece, Mariama's doing all of that. That's a job within itself. So now we're looking for someone to delegate that piece to. So just everything. You know what you're able to handle, because we start to feel the wrath. So we had to delegate those responsibilities too. So I
I
think
love
that's
that. Let's say the
And
first step
especially,
is admitting that you need help.
look here, look here.
yes,
Especially
that
on the
is it.
business side, because I've said this before to you, Michelle, y'all, the way we paint business ownership and entrepreneurship is with the wrong brush. All that means being a small business owner is that you are responsible for everything happening. Period. Now, yes, there's flexibility. You can set your own all the things, but you are taking the responsibility of everything that you want to be done. And I don't think, just like we're not necessarily honest with students about how to find help, we're not always honest about what that looks like in real time for small business owners. And you wonder why, we get burnt out so quickly, or why businesses don't last past a certain year. And there are other factors, of course, but I think that the longer we've had them, and the more we've had to be honest with each other, and like Jamisha said, with ourselves, other people we meet, because it's not all about the flashy and the picture on the website and the earrings, which are nice. Thank you, Jamisha.
Hey,
It's not all about the cute stuff all the time. There are real things that have to be done, and you have to figure out how to get that done and take care of yourself at the same time. So if I, my prayers are with anybody that owns their own business, particularly if they're trying to find that support and that team of people to just undergird them. Because it's, again, the glam is what is presented, but the honest conversations behind curtain aren't always had. And I think that's where business owners fall apart a lot. And we're saying that because that's us.
Mhm.
Like you got to check your ego. It's At the end of the day, it's about whatever service, whatever you're providing. You can't do that to the best of your ability if you're not honest about what you can do and what you can't.
yeah,
And I'm stuck. That one, because girl,
that's good. Well, look, we can go on and on about education, about entrepreneurship, because we all in that same boat together. Um, but I'm gonna go ahead and let the people go. So could you tell them how to connect with you? Because you guys again have different arms. So you guys work with tutors, you work with students, administrators. Like, how can they connect with you?
Well, I'll give the old school connection. Good old phone number is 984-888-0141. Our website is mmedugroup.org. That's MM like the candy, EDU short for education, and group.org. And our email is info@mmedugroup.org. And for all those social media lights, Mariama will share with you.
we're primarily on Facebook and Instagram. You should be able to reach us at MM Tutoring SVC at both Instagram and Facebook. And you can find us on LinkedIn under M&M Educational Group. Yes.
Nice. So I have no excuse not to reach out to them. Y'all here to know what they're talking about. We don't talk about early indicators. We talked about getting help and how, the student achievement and even school achievement goes beyond just the numbers. Your child is more than a number to them.
Exactly.
So, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no excuse. You got 45 ways how to reach out to them. You just need one.
I have to do this because my students, I gotta make Miss Moody face. Now look here. We done told you. Now, if you know your baby needs help, hey, you know that we're here. Okay, if you know your teachers need help. You can't say you didn't know. If you're a tutor looking for a little part-time gig, you can't. We're here, so y'all can't say you didn't know. Just come on, y'all. Come on. I gotta make the Miss Moody face because that's what my clients always say. It's the face. Now you know.
Real.
Now you know. You can't say you didn't know.
Okay, don't go on. Tell me so. With March, I ain't know. We don't gave you some early indicators. So even if you do, because I think you guys made a good point. Even if the teacher never communicates with you how maybe they should, or maybe the most impactful way, that is your child. They done gave you some early indicators. The interim report. First of all, you should be getting an interim report. So if you, because sometimes it don't make it home. So just in case you did not know, you should be getting an interim report. So if you don't, you might, that's a conversation for your child, or just hit the teacher up. Like,
you can always reach out to the school, always.
Yeah. You don't have to wait for them to come to you. You can go. Don't pop up. You know what I'm saying?
No, don't do that. Wait. no.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Call an email.
No, don't. Yeah,
Call
don't.
an email.
No,
Don't roll
do
into the
that.
school because
Lot,
you might get a
a
little
lot going
side
on
like,
right now.
what you doing? We gotta
I've
call
A
had
lot
spirit
going on
that.
right now, y'all. Don't. Hold on. Just
We try to
hold
keep you
on.
safe.
I'm just saying.
Well, I appreciate you ladies hanging out with me today. It is, of course, it's a pleasure. I could chat with you guys for hours. Mari knows we could chat for hours. So if you want to reach out to me, Dr. Michele, you can reach out to me at All Things Mogul Beginnings. That's MOGUL Beginnings. We help you get your data stuff together, whether it's an impact report, getting a CEO dashboard, help you craft surveys or get grant ready. That's what we do over here. And then make sure you reach out to us on the Brownstone. So this is the Black Media Network that we're on, brownstoneworldwide.com, or social media, All Things Brownstone. We got tons of things going on. It's a magazine out there that I'm also a contributor to, this Brownstone Living magazine. So yeah, I'm gonna let y'all go. I know, right? I'm just trying to be out there, got my SEO popping, you know what I'm saying? So again, I enjoyed you guys. I hope you listeners have a great rest of the day and you took something from it. Take action on it immediately. Don't wait, because next thing you know, it's gonna be March and you'll say, I don't know what's going on. You know now, okay? You know now. New semester has started. You know now. All right. Have a great rest of your day, guys, and see you next time. Bye.
Bye.